jumps we do with our sea lions are designed to work out different muscles. So Bounty is just learning how to do some really big jumps. So we're going to give him a cheer each time he jumps out of the water. Here he goes. This is going to be PG, but everyone will at least get a laugh, and that's all that matters. So the first sea lion we are going to bring out is our youngest by the name of Bounty. So he's going to come crashing through the doors. Please give him a cheer as he makes his way out. There he is. Now what I'm going to do is bring Bounty up nice and close to the glass and train him there. He tends to focus a little bit better if he's got a really good look at all of you. So what I am going to ask of you all is, if you are in the front row and you have got little ones, do try and keep them in their seats. I'm obviously Scottish, you know it's not beneath me to kick a child, but I really like this job and I don't want to lose it over that. So we are going to try our best to answer some questions with Bounty today. There he is, get your butt over here. Oh, lovely. But first, we do need to say hello to him, that's only polite. So what we're going to do is you are all going to give him a big wave to say hello, and if he likes you, he'll give you a wave back. Now Bounty is going to try his best to answer something really, really silly. And that is what kind of animal he is. Now right now you all think that's a silly question. But then you go home, and some of you have TripAdvisor accounts, and you write about all the different kinds of animals you saw. So in the last week alone, Bounty has been called a dolphin, a whale, an otter, and 3 times he's been called a seagull. If you think he's a seagull, I unfortunately can't help you, I do not have the qualifications. But if you think he is a seal, I can help you. That is the most common mistake. People get seals and sea lions confused all the time. Now the first way to tell the difference is the hardest to see, but it means you can all have a look at Bounty's head. Either side of his head, he's actually got sticky out ears. Now from the front, I personally think they look like Shrek ears, but if you see them, it is a sea lion, as seals have only got tiny holes on either side of their head. But that was a lovely dance. Give him a cheer. Well done, you. Nicely done. Now the second difference, I need a bit of help from all of you because it involves the size of their flippers. So for comparison, if you're an adult, give me a wave. Hi everyone. Hi. Now grown-ups, have a look at the size of your own hand. Show it to any boys and girls you might be with. If you're not with kids, that is fine. Find the most immature person sat by you and you have my blessing to shove your hand in their face. Your adult hand is about the same size as a seal's flipper. So congratulations. But I'm going to be the one to tell you that's rubbish, tiny, pathetic, when you compare it to one of these bad boys. So Bounty's flipper is much longer than even a human arm, and he can use them to swim as fast as 25 miles an hour. Wow. A seal can only go about 8 miles an hour. So basically what I'm telling you today is sea lions are just better in general. But because those flippers are so powerful, they can use them to launch themselves out of the water. So we're going to try for the second one. Give him a cheer, please. Easy, easy. Now the last difference is my personal favourite, and it involves how they move when they come onto land. Now both whales spend a lot of time on land, especially during breeding season. Yay! They will come onto land in order to find a mate and raise their young. Seals just aren't very good at moving around on land, and that's because they've got something called a fixed hip joint. And all that means is they are terrible up on land, they can't hold themselves up, and they look like this. Big slug. Thankfully for Bounty, he is a sea lion, lucky you, which means he's actually got something called a rotating hip. Basically means he can tuck all 4 flippers underneath his body, and on land, even though he currently weighs about 29 stone, he can run faster than any of us. He can climb, and there's a way to get back in if you climb, so give him a cheer. Whoa! revolves around us. What animal is Bounty? I look forward to reading your reviews on the dolphin show this evening. It always happens, doesn't it? Now, we managed to see a little bit of what Bounty can do, but people often come into our shows and assume that we train our animals so that they will perform. Now, we love having you, but none of you have been here for the last 2 years. You've all been at home either homeschooling or sitting in your jammies eating Jaffa cakes, which I would have liked to have been doing. But we were here training our sea lions every single day, and the most important reason is actually to check they're healthy. Although Bounty looks like a really big water dog, he's as dangerous as a lion or a tiger, and he currently weighs just under 30 stone. He could do a lot of damage, and when it comes to checking he's healthy, it's polite just to ask him to join in. So when humans go to the dentist will say, we do the same with our sea lions. We ask them to open up, we can check inside their mouth and make sure everything is looking beautiful. And if Bounty doesn't want to do this, that is perfectly fine. Nothing bad happens. He still gets all his food. He still gets lots of cheers from you guys. We just end up laughing a little bit and ignoring anything that is a little bit naughty. Now, the hardest thing we do have to do with Bounty is actually exercising him. Sea lions are quite lazy animals just in general, and they've got about the kind of mental capacity of a 3 or 4 year old, which means if you're left up to your own devices, you cause trouble. You do. So we do lots of exercise with them every single day in order to keep them nice and fit. So a lot of the big jumps we do with our sea lions are designed to work out different muscles. So Bounty is just learning how to do some really big jumps. So we're going to give him a cheer each time he jumps out of the water. Here he goes. It was like shadow jumping in and out. And Bounty, you have worked very, very hard helping us out today, so we're going to let him go off and have a rest. But everyone say bye, Bounty!
Bye-bye!
Now, Bounty does not live here alone at the safari park. We have actually got 3 male sea lions.
Oh.
And the one that will be joining us for this show is our eldest by the name of Callum. Callum's currently 15 years old. He is very, very much the biggest show-off ever, and he's already done 3 shows today. He's shown off, he's done all this stuff, and now he's currently lying right in front of me, fast asleep. So what we are going to try and do is introduce you to our 3rd sea lion, Jack. But before we do that, we got to say goodbye to Bounty. So give him a cheer as he runs through the boulders in the middle. Is he up his way?
Bye-bye! Woo! Hi, Jack.
There he is. For those of you who have looked at Jack and thought he's got something on his face, that is his own drool. You should be ashamed of yourself. But he is a really nice guy. If you all give him a wave, he'll say hi to you as well.
Hi!
Now, we've explained lots of different things about sea lion training, but we've not actually said how we do it in the first place. Jack doesn't speak any English to my knowledge, do you? You're choosing to ignore me, that's fine. So the way we actually train him is with something called positive reinforcement. So every time Jack does good, he's given a reward, yeah. So the first thing you've got to figure out is what a sea lion likes. What do you think a sea lion likes? That's a good one. Do you think fish? Yeah. So, at first, all we introduce the sea lions to is a whistle. And all we do is blow on it and give them a fish. They learn that every time they hear that noise, they are going to get something they like. Then we introduce this funny looking stick called a target. And all we do at first is hold it out near Jack, wait for him to touch it to his nose, and blow the whistle. So he knows for what he's just done, he is getting lots and lots of treats. Now, he's a really intelligent animal. It doesn't take him long to figure out if he follows that target around, he will get lots and lots of treats just for touching his nose to this stick. Which means if you use your imagination, you can train all kinds of things. We call this shaping behaviours. So we lead the sea lions around in lots and lots of little steps in order to make sure that they're learning at a good pace and they're not getting confused. But that was hard work for Jack. Give him a cheer. That was exercise. But gradually over time, we want to phase out that target. It's far too easy, and it'd be boring if you were always following it around. So we introduce something known as a cue. Cues are a bit like sign language. They're our way of talking to the sea lion. So like I said, Jack isn't listening to a single word I said. What he's looking at.
Wow! Nino, bigyan tato. Kumayan kayo.
If he wants to ignore me, he has the option to as well. And when Jack ignores us, what he basically does is he sinks to the bottom of the pool all the way down, and then he sits there for 20 minutes ignoring us, and it's a really fun show for everyone involved. But everything we do with the sea lions has some kind of purpose. Like I said, it could be as simple as exercise, so things like getting them jumping is a really easy way to do that. This is also what Jack would do if he was swimming around and he just needed to take a breath. Sea lions breathe air just like we do. They're just a bit better at holding their breath than we are. Now, Jack, if you come on up back here, there is one thing in this world that would scare you enough to be doing porpoising like that. And you'd have to swim really fast, and it would be an animal that would eat you. Oh no, I'm scared. Now, there's not many things big enough to eat an animal as big as a sea lion, but we're going to show you one that our sea lions do find a little bit terrifying. If he comes back, he's too scared now. Over here. Now, if you know what it is, shout it out. So the sea lions would have to swim as fast as they can away from that shark in order to make sure that their tails weren't nipped or anything like that. But he's done a good job. Give him a cheer. Well done. Now, people often ask us how long it takes to train an animal like Jack. He will never ever be fully trained, and that is not because you're lazy, even though you are, but we are always training new things with him in order to keep his brain and body active. So one thing we've been working on during lockdown is to get Jack to do a flip. Now, sea lions will jump and flip out of the water, like I said, if a shark was chasing them, or they were just playing. But I'm going to stress to you that he is still learning this. It will either look really, really cool, or it will look like you're drowning. That's okay. You're more than welcome to cheer for whatever it is that happens. He's off. Are you ready?
May pang dilayan nyo, may pang backflip nyo. May pamutambing backflip.
Now, there's one part of a sea lion that is a little bit tricky to work out and train, and that is their whiskers. Us humans don't have any whiskers, so we have to get a little bit creative. A sea lion would use their whiskers to hunt in really dark or murky water. So, we are going to test that they are working by seeing if Jack can catch all 5 of these rings. And get this is going to be really exciting. You guys are going to count the rings!
Yes!
Yeah! You thought baby rhinos were cool? We're doing numbers with sea lions. So, I'm going to give you a clue. The first one is number 1. All you've got to do is shout 1 with as much enthusiasm as you can. You ready? Number 1!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now we are going to let Jack go off and have a rest as well, because frankly it is way past all of our sea lions' bedtimes. But they have done a great job helping us out tonight. Give them one last cheer to say well done.
Well done.
If you have any more questions about our sea lions, I'll be at the side of the stage in a few moments' time. But thank you all so much for sticking around tonight to help us out, and enjoy the rest of your night in the safari park. Bye everyone.
Bye-bye. Mana?
Okay, natutang isa.